You know that feeling when life just feels, well, messy, a bit sticky, maybe.
Oh, definitely. Like you're wading through something thick and things just aren't clicking.
Exactly. And we got this really interesting set of notes from a listener, Ritesh. He was right there,
Okay.
had a presentation go badly, felt like nothing was going his way,
Yeah.
that whole vibe.
Yeah. That sense of being out of control, it's relatable. We want smoothness, but life throws curveballs.
Totally. So his notes tracked his experience with the book When Things Don't Go Your Way by Heeman Sunim.
Ah, yes. A well-regarded book on navigating life's difficulties.
Right. And our plan for this deep dive is basically to unpack what Ritesh learned, the kind of shifts he made.
Mm.
See if if you listening can pull out some shortcuts maybe
Sure.
for handling those rough times and finding a bit more calm like he did.
So it's like a case study, seeing how these principles actually land in someone's real life.
Exactly. A real world test.
Mm.
And his journey hits on some big themes, doesn't it?
It really does. Things like impermanence, gratitude, facing discomfort.
Yeah. And letting go, seeing challenges differently, and even sharing what you learn. It's quite a path he went on. Ready to jump in?
Absolutely. Let's trace his steps.
Okay, so the first big thing for Ritesh, the first lesson that really hit home, was embracing impermanence.
A foundational idea, really, that everything changes. Nothing, good or bad, is permanent. It's all flowing.
The book had that story, remember? The village waiting for rain.
Mm-hmm. The drought.
Yeah, and they go to the sage, and he basically says, your problem isn't the lack of rain, it's thinking happiness or sorrow last.
Right. He reframed it. The issue wasn't the drought itself, which is temporary, but their attachment to the idea of permanence.
That really clicked for Ritesh. He thought back to failing an exam in college.
Okay.
At the time, it felt like the absolute end of the world,
Yeah.
Total devastation.
Sure. Feels huge in the moment.
But looking back now,
Yeah.
that feeling was just gone, distant, almost meaningless. The difficulty had passed.
That's such a clear illustration of it. Time gives perspective and the intensity fades.
But, and this is the kicker for him, it works both ways. The good times, the joy, that's impermanent too.
Yes. And that's not meant to be depressing. It's actually an invitation, isn't it?
How so?
Well, if you know the good moments are fleeting, you're maybe more likely to actually be present for them, to savor them fully.
Ah, right. Don't take them for granted. Ritesh called it a wow moment.
Makes sense.
He even came up with this image of life like a river.
Okay.
You can't grab the water and hold on to it. It just flows. You just feel the coolness right now.
That's a beautiful analogy. Experience it as it passes, without clinging.
And he applied it straight back to that bad presentation.
Okay, how?
Instead of just beating himself up, he thought, okay, that happened. It's temporary. What can I do next time?
So that's the practical application. It shifts failure from being a fixed identity to just an event, a learning point.
Right. So lesson 1, everything's changing, flowing like that river. Then lesson 2 for Ritesh was about gratitude. He called it his great doodles, which I kind of like.
Great doodles. Okay. But the core idea is that shift in focus. Yeah.
Totally. Moving from what I don't have, or what's annoying me, the traffic, the work stress.
Usual suspects. It's easy to get stuck there. Our brains are kind of wired for that, the negativity bias.
Right. So he consciously shifted to, what do I have? Good home, family, chances to learn things.
Actively looking for the positives takes effort, but it's powerful.
He started small, just writing down a few things each day he was thankful for.
Simple but effective.
Like waking up, having a job, friends, family. The basics.
And those basics are actually the foundation, aren't they? We often overlook them. Acknowledging them builds contentment.
There was another story in the book, the farmer who lost his crops.
Yes, complaining bitterly.
And the monk asks him, okay, but what's left? What do you still have?
And the farmer initially says, nothing, in despair.
Exactly. But the monk points out, well, you're alive. You can plant again. It's about perspective, even when things are really tough.
That story cuts right to the heart of it. Even in loss, there's often something remaining, some potential we miss if we only focus on the lack.
That really spurred Ritesh on with his great doodles. He made it a habit, like 3 things every day, morning or night.
Consistency is definitely the key there. Doing it regularly actually starts to reshape how you see things automatically.
And his examples were so normal, stuck in traffic. Well, hey, I have a car.
Finding the upside, yeah.
Lunch with colleagues, appreciating the chat. His dad asking about his day, valuing that connection.
It's about finding that little spark in the everyday stuff, the ordinary moments.
The book stressed that too. It's not about waiting for huge windfalls. It's the first sip of tea, a smile.
Those small positive hits add up. They really do boost your overall well-being.
And for Ritesh, it wasn't just internal. It affected his relationships.
How so?
He actually started saying thank you more. Thanked his mom for breakfast, thanked a colleague for help.
Expressing it.
Yeah. And people noticed, they appreciated it. It made things, I don't know, warmer.
Absolutely. Express gratitude strengthens bonds. It makes the other person feel seen, and it makes the whole interaction more positive.
So gratitude, the great doodles, really started shifting things. But then, life happens.
Always does.
He had another tough presentation coming up, and that old avoidance instinct kicked in, wanting to dodge the discomfort.
Understandable. We're wired to avoid feeling bad or vulnerable. Even with progress, old habits can pop up under pressure.
Which led him right into lesson 3, welcoming discomfort. Kind of the opposite of avoiding it.
Right. It's counterintuitive, but the idea is that leaning into discomfort carefully is where real growth and resilience come from.
Instead of seeing it as a stop sign, see it as, what, a challenge.
An opportunity, maybe?
Yeah.
A signal that you're stretching your boundaries. It's reframing it.
The book used the image of climbing a mountain, didn't it?
The young man struggling. And the guru is saying, essentially, each bit of discomfort teaches you, makes you stronger. Avoiding it keeps you weak.
It's a classic metaphor, but it fit Ritesh's situation. He saw how he tried to avoid the discomfort in that first bad presentation.
And how that fear, like fear of public speaking, had probably held him back before.
Avoidance gives short-term relief, maybe, but long-term it limits you, right?
Exactly. You don't build the muscles needed to handle challenges if you always sidestep them.
So, Ritesh decided to try it. Small step. He spoke up in a team meeting.
Okay, something he'd normally avoid.
Yeah, just offered an idea. And guess what?
It went okay.
It went fine. People listened, some agreed. It wasn't the scary disaster he'd built up in his head.
Often the anticipation is way worse than the actual event. Getting that small win builds confidence.
He started writing about it. Like, discomfort teaches me. It pushes my limits. I need to embrace it.
That's the mental shift right there. Seeing it not just as bad, but as productive.
He even did little experiments, like finishing his shower with cold water. Just small, intentional discomforts.
Little resilience drills. It sounds minor, but voluntarily facing small discomforts can genuinely build mental toughness for bigger, involuntary ones.
And it worked. He felt more confident. Enough that he actually volunteered for another presentation later on.
Wow, okay, full circle.
And he handled it much better. Discomfort wasn't this big, scary monster anymore. It was just a challenge to meet.
He built up his capacity by practicing with smaller things. That's how resilience grows.
Okay, so he's feeling more capable, embracing discomfort, and then, bam, a big project he was leading, canceled.
Ouch. Just when you feel you're getting a handle on things.
Right, a real setback. But this led to the next lesson, knowing when to let go.
Which can be incredibly hard, especially if you've poured yourself into something. Your time, your energy, maybe even your identity is tied up in it.
Definitely. But clinging on when something's truly over, it just holds you back, doesn't it?
It really does. The book had that story about the sailor in the storm.
Oh yeah, having to throw his cargo overboard.
His livelihood. But he had to choose between the cargo and his life. Sometimes you have to sacrifice something valuable to save something essential.
Ritesh saw the connection. Holding on to this dead project wasn't helping him. Maybe letting it go was necessary.
Like clearing space.
Exactly. He even thought about how he'd stopped painting seriously years ago. Maybe that letting go, though sad at the time, made space for his career now.
It's about discernment, isn't it? Recognizing when something has run its course and releasing it rather than fighting reality.
There was a great quote. Letting go is not about giving up. It is about making space for something new to bloom.
I like that. It reframes letting go, no, not as failure, but as an act of, like, preparing the ground for the future. Creation, almost.
So Ritesh literally archived the files, closed the digital door on it.
And how did that feel?
Lighter, he said. Freed up. Ready for whatever came next.
Makes sense.
He even applied it personally. Called up an old friend he'd fallen out with. Let go of the grudge. Made a new start.
See, it applies everywhere. Letting go of emotional baggage, old hurts, resentment, that frees up so much energy.
So letting go is big, created space, but then, of course, a new challenge, leading a really tough client project.
The cycle continues.
Which brought him to lesson 5, viewing difficulties as opportunities.
This is maybe the most profound shift, not just tolerating difficulty or getting through it, but actually seeing it as useful, integral even.
Yeah, like it's part of the path to growth,
Yeah.
not something blocking the path.
Exactly, like that story of the king and the stone in the road.
Right, he puts a big boulder there, people curse it, complain, go around it,
Until one farmer makes the effort to actually move it.
and finds gold underneath. And a note from the king saying challenges teach us, and overcoming them brings rewards.
It's such a neat illustration. The obstacle contained the opportunity, but you had to engage with it, not just complain about it.
So Ritesh thought, okay, this difficult client project, how can I reframe this? He held a team meeting, specifically said, look, these challenges aren't just problems. They're chances for us to get smarter, work better together, become more resilient.
That's great leadership in adversity, setting a positive, proactive frame instead of a reactive, stressed one. It empowers the team.
And he started doing it himself. Client keeps changing their mind. Okay, opportunity to practice flexibility, team members disagreeing. Okay, chance to find a better solution by combining ideas.
Right. Conflict as creative potential.
Big technical problem.
Okay.
Okay, this will force us to learn something new, build our skills.
He was actively mining the difficulties for learning points, turning stressors into growth prompts.
He even tried it at home. When disagreeing with his parents, instead of just arguing, he tried to see it as an opportunity to understand their viewpoint.
That shows how deep the lesson went, applying it not just at work, but in those core relationships, too.
Okay, so fast forward a bit. Ritesh has integrated these lessons, things are feeling more manageable. He hasn't looked at the book in a while. And then he comes across the final core idea. Share your light.
Ah, yes. The idea that learning isn't just for you. It finds completion, in a way, when you pass it on.
He felt like he'd gained so much he wanted to share it. So he started a blog.
Okay. Putting his journey out there.
Yeah, writing about his struggles, the book, the lessons he learned.
That takes courage, but it can be so valuable. For him, solidifying his own understanding, and for others who might be going through similar things.
And it was. He got messages from people saying his posts helped them, inspired them.
That's fantastic.
It gave him this whole other layer of purpose beyond just sorting himself out. He realized the book wasn't just for him. Its wisdom was meant to ripple outwards.
It really highlights our interconnectedness. Our struggles and insights can genuinely help light the way for others.
And he saw that pattern again. Every ending, like finishing the intense part of his personal journey, was just a new beginning, the beginning of sharing it.
A beautiful realization.
So let's try and wrap this up. Ritesh's journey with this book, it gave him this toolkit, didn't it?
Absolutely. A set of perspectives.
Embrace impermanence, nothing lasts, good or bad. Practice gratitude, his great doodles, focusing on the good. Welcome discomfort. That's where you grow.
Know when to let go, making space. View difficulties as opportunity, finding the lesson. And share your light, pass on what you learn.
It really shows that change is possible, right? With the right mindset, the willingness to engage with these ideas.
His story is a powerful testament to that. It's not about avoiding difficulty, but about changing our relationship to difficulty.
So maybe the final thought for everyone listening is this. Which one of those 6 lessons kind of pings for you right now, where you are in life?
Yeah, which one resonates most?
And then maybe think about one tiny way you can share that little insight, whatever it is, with someone else, your own share your light moment.
Could be small, just a conversation. But it creates that ripple, doesn't it, thinking beyond ourselves.
Exactly. Well, this was a fascinating deep dive into Ritesh's experience and those lessons. Thanks for exploring it with me.
My pleasure. Some really valuable insights there.
Thank you for taking this deep dive with us.